Okay, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going live and kind of just out of the blue with things happening with Alfred Edwards committing and I guess the commitment of El Toro Allen and Alfred Edwards, both committing in the last couple of days. It's been a while, so because of the holidays and work schedules and people getting sick and different things like that, we haven't recorded for a while, but it's been way too long. So I had to jump on and record something, especially with the recent news. I'll attach this to a story on Scout. As always, go to ustateaggies.com. We've got all the updated information on commits, on visits, on guys the Aggies are still looking at. That number is obviously really pared down from obviously the guys that they used to be looking at and the offers and different things. You can only bring in just over 50 visitors, so obviously that there's a limit to how many guys you can bring in to visit. But also obviously you're going to bring in the guys that you're highest on, the guys you like the most, and kind of work your way down from there at different positions. So they now have an offensive tackle commit in Alfred Edwards, which is huge in this class, in my opinion. He's a guy that can come in and if not contribute, can be a guy that can contribute in the future, in the near future, and has the frame to add a lot more weight, and really, from what I can tell on tape, should be a really good guy to have in the program to really build things up, and more than anything, more than just next year's offensive line, that's something that is needed in the program and in the offensive line room. It's something that's got to be built up over years. It's not something that you can always count on going out and recruiting some guys and bringing them in and having them contribute next year. It's something that has to be built, throughout time and recruited well, and hopefully avoid misses on guys that obviously the last offensive line coach had some pretty big time misses in my opinion, and some guys that didn't quite develop the way you would hope, and all that kind of stuff. So won't get into that too much in detail, but obviously Alfred Edwards has committed, which really just happened tonight. And then kind of to recap this last weekend's group, El Toro Allen is a running back, 5'10", 195 from Riverside Community College or Riverside College. I can't remember what the correct term is, but they, Riverside is really should be a pipeline, JC, that's good year in and year out. One of those schools that you can kind of count on, checking out, count on, keeping an eye on, because whether it's running backs, offensive line, defensive backs, running, receivers, they've obviously had a lot of guys come through there. So obviously he's the guy. El Toro Allen has committed from that group. Luka Nixon is a defensive end from Oregon. He's got a good 6'6" frame. A guy that I have had my eye on, kind of watched obviously his huddle and Twitter and different things like that. But Luka Nixon's a guy that he visited over the weekend. Same thing. He would be a guy that could come in and be a good depth guy, a guy that would have pretty high upside to bring in and add to the defensive line. And you never know. Next year on the defensive line is going to be pretty wide open as far as playing time. So you never know. Weirder things have happened. Obviously, we've seen with B.J. Larson and Nelson and some guys come in and play pretty quick on the defensive line. So weirder things have happened, I guess. Ben Bywater was one of the visitors as well. Ben's a guy I've been watching for a long time. He was at Mountain West Elite. making plays there. He played for Olympus in high school, obviously in Salt Lake, and he's a guy that's a really good athlete. He's a guy he's really a star rugby player that turned a football player, and he would have the same chances in rugby. He'd probably have a lot of chances to play in college and maybe even play on some of the big time rugby teams. And has chosen football, and has also chosen to go on a mission. So once he graduates, he's going to go on a mission for 2 years. Still committed to BYU. So we'll see what happens there. I guess anything's possible. BYU's been known to move on from guys, but they don't normally move on from guys that haven't gone on their mission yet or anything. Kind of keep things open. But like I said, weirder things have happened. A committed guy that was on the visit this weekend, Ismail Vaifu, Izzy, as probably his friends call him. I don't know. But Izzy is a kind of a long 6'3", 200-pound outside linebacker type of guy. In high school, he played a lot of defensive end and wide receiver, and they played him in different places. But he was pretty thin. You could tell he definitely needs to put on more weight, and I think he should. I have no doubt that he will put on the weight and obviously get bigger and stronger as a linebacker and as a Division I athlete after a mission, to kind of let him fill out a little bit naturally as well for 2 years. Let's see, there was 4 guys visited this weekend, and I'm trying to think if that was all 4 of them. Yeah, so that was 4. Next weekend, kind of, this is obviously a little bit up in the air, but a couple running backs were scheduled to come in. I don't know if that changes, obviously, with a commit like El Toro Allen. Henley Avendano is a missionary guy that's gonna go serve a mission for 2 years, but he's a guy that can play interior offensive line, center, even D tackle. He looked good in high school. I think I would 100% put him at center or guard, because I think Utah State needs more of those road grader type of tough guys, maulers in the middle that can play on the offensive line. Next week, another guy to look forward to is Mason Fakahua. He's a quarterback from Cedar City. Most teams, I think, are recruiting him as an athlete. I think the staff has told him he can play quarterback as long as he wants to, but obviously the athletic potential is there to switch positions as well. A guy to look forward to still to visit is Devin Anderson. He's a guy from Dodge City Community College, 6'3", 270. It'd be nice to have a guy that has the right kind of size to play defensive end, come in, potentially play right away instead of a redshirt freshman or a converted outside linebacker or something like that. It'd be nice to have him one more defensive line commit, one more defensive line signing that can come in and help that defensive line that honestly last year could have been a lot needed to be a lot quicker and stop the run better than they did, cause more pressure on the quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of things that I think was a little bit disappointing on the defensive line, especially considering they were a lot of them were seniors and so forth. So, a guy like Nami Tuitu is a guy from Mesa High School that can come in and play defensive end. He's already committed. He played in the Polynesian Bowl last week. Mataola is scheduled to still visit the Aggies. He's an outside linebacker, really a rush guy from Alta High School, 6'3", 230 right now, absolutely will bulk up and be I mean, that's what he's good at. He's really good at rushing the passer. He's a beast off the edge. Definitely a guy that's really exciting to watch. Obviously Henry Colombi visited. He's been committed for a long time. Jojo Fallo is a guy that I don't even know if they are really dead set on bringing in another defensive tackle, but he's a guy that you can't pass up the opportunity with. A guy that you got to offer and try to get no matter what position, because he's kind of the best guy available, type of thing. Obviously, we had the early signees and stuff, but Zahodri Jackson was a guy that visited in December and committed. Just kind of going through the list. Obviously, Jamal Evans that committed and visited. Now, it's been a while ago now. And then the last guy that I guess got to talk about, because even though he visited in December, just recently committed, is Carson Terrell. He's really a difference maker at tight end. He's a guy that can come in and play right away. Same thing. I watched him a lot in high school because he was at Lehigh High School. He's got some teammates that are going to be seniors next year that the Aggies are keeping an eye on and that have offered. So that'll be interesting to watch, see if having Carson in the program will help. Lehigh High School is kind of turning into a pipeline, especially at the tight end position, which sounds kind of funny, but Lehigh has obviously, the current player on the current roster is of course I have to Derek Hastings. So Derek Hastings is currently on the roster. He was actually a freshman last year. Carson Terrell will be a freshman next year. And then they've got other guys at Lehigh High School that will be big time recruits as well. At least for the Aggies. Who knows how much they blow up and everything. So obviously excited. I keep saying obviously. Sorry. So exciting night for the Aggies as far as getting a commit. Keep checking back to ustateaggies.com for any updates, any visits, commits, anything like that, obviously. So Alfred Edwards has already tweeted out that he's committed and everything like that. So I'm sure the Aggies are really excited about that. He's a guy that is absolutely a big time recruit. For those of you who don't know his story, I mentioned he's 6'7", he's a big kid, but he was committed to Nevada for some time. I think he committed to Nevada 6 months ago or so, maybe not that long ago, for months, and there's been a coaching change in Nevada and so forth. But when he came on his visit, we were hearing, the staff at U State Aggies, we were hearing that, from the other visitors and so forth, that they thought Alfred Edwards really loved his visit, and they basically told us that he was going to commit here any day, and obviously he took the chance with the. I guess he took the opportunity with the coaches doing an in-home visit to commit. Committed tonight on his in-home visit. It looks like Matt Wells was there, and Farmer and Coach Julius and those guys were there, and to in person get a commitment from. So we'll see how he plays in fall camp. See how ready he is. I mean, he's a guy that absolutely, if he starts, working his butt off from today until fall camp, he's a guy that could probably contribute right away. So it'll just depend on how hard he works from now until fall camp, I guess. And when he comes in, and